we are going to be giving you all the automotive news you need to go about your day, knowing that you know everything there is to know about the automotive segment on this June the 17th of 2021. And today we got a good amount of car news for you guys, but we're going to start with this man right here. This is Esteban Ocon. He is an Alpine Formula One driver, or excuse me, Alpine Formula One driver. And he has extended his contract through 2024, which is crazy to think about for the person that is only 24 years old. Now, Esteban Ocon made his debut in 2016 when he was just 19 years old. And now he's extending his contract through the 2024 window, which gives him 2 years of using the new F1 car. Esteban says, quote, "There are great challenges ahead of us, especially with the new regulations in 2022. I'm sure we can hit our targets by working hard together and continuing the story." He continues to say, "I'm really looking forward to the next chapter, but for now, we're very much focused on the season and taking each race as it comes, and it'll be very interesting to see how the Alpine Formula One team does in the 2022 Formula One season when, in fact, the regulations change so drastically and potentially the pecking order in Formula One could be flipped upside down." Now, moving on, I'd be remiss if I didn't show you this, guys, but the Civic hatch was actually leaked on a Facebook group yesterday evening. These 3 photos that you're about to see are leaked photos of the Civic hatchback. You can see it in this next shot pictured next to the silver sedan, and you can clearly see that this is the hatchback version. Now, these are the only 3 photos we got, and the rear looks mighty Stinger-like. Mighty Stinger-like. That said, I don't know if I'm entirely sold on it just yet, but I'm not going to be giving any opinions on these 3 photos alone. All I can say is that exhaust pipe is mighty sad. Moving on to the next bit of news, we got Kia with the Telluride. Now, if you guys don't know about the Telluride, you certainly should. It is one of the best 3-row SUVs on the market today, and its price is one that few can compete with. Now, if you're like me and local to the Northeast area, you'll know that dealers are actually charging a $5,000 to $10,000 premium still on the Kia Telluride, which can bring this price in the neighborhood of $50,000. And I got to be honest with you guys, it's still worth it at $50,000. And now it's even more worth it with the changes that they're making for 2022. The first and most evident is the fact that the Kia Telluride is leveraging all the new Kia branding. So the new Kia badge in the rear, the new front grille that is also lightly revised, but taking in that new Kia design language, also on the inside as well on the horn button. And I gotta say, it is a welcome addition to a car that kind of looked funky with the old Kia logo before it. Now, new for 2022 is a host of standard features that get added to the S and LX model. Those models now get auto climate control, highway drive assist, and standard that 10.25-inch infotainment system, which is awesome. Previously, up until that point, you were only getting an 8-inch screen on the base Tellurides. Now, that is only for an additional cost of $600, so you are, in fact, getting a lot for a little. And the last thing that I want to note on the 2022 Kia Telluride is the fact that all new models get a, quote, navigation-based smart cruise control curve, which apparently slows the car down as it approaches a turn with cruise on. So not that big of a deal, but, you know, something interesting that's a standard option added to these cars. Shout out to Kurt Steiner, my man, with the Coney Island donation. He says, quote, "Ate too many Coney Island hot dogs last night, XO." Love you, Kurt. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. As we continue in our fast-paced news segment this morning, we got this Cayenne Coupe, but this version is entirely unnamed. Now, the reason why I say that is because Porsche made claim to say that this was based on another model. So, quote, this is a quote from Stefan Weckbach, who is the vice president of Porsche product line. He says, quote, "This Cayenne model is a top performer. During its development, we focused on exceptional on-road performance. Our record-breaking Cayenne is based on the Cayenne Turbo Coupe, though more systematically designed for maximum longitudinal and lateral dynamics." Guys, what you're looking at is probably, without a doubt, the first time a GT line is going to be used on an SUV. I'm going to make that claim right now. I could be wrong. But you're telling me something that's based on the Cayenne Turbo Coupe, but is designed for maximum longitudinal and lateral dynamics, that's a GT car. So this is going to be how they sort of convince folks that GT line on SUVs is okay. And I got to be honest with you, the Cayenne Coupe looks insane. This one looks insane. The exhaust tips where they are, the diffuser, the roof spoiler, the deployable spoiler. It's just a mental looking thing. Now you guys are wondering, 7 minutes and 38 seconds, how does that compare to the previous fastest SUV? The previous fastest SUV was the Audi RSQ8. That did a time of 7 minutes, 42 seconds. So it's about 5.5 seconds faster than the RSQ8. Also important to note, this vehicle did have a racing seat and a roll cage, as many of the cars that set Nürburgring records often do. It is rumored that this is using a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 with 631 horsepower, but its debut is going to be coming soon. Now, if you're wondering where that record fits in the lexicon of Nürburgring times, just know that the front-wheel drive hot hatch record is 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So you're talking about something that is just a little bit faster than a Renault Megane RS Trophy. And I know we don't see many of these Cayenne Coupes, but we're hopefully going to start seeing more of them as dealer production ramps up and more of these end up on dealer lots, because I think this is one of the better looking SUVs available on the road today. Now, the last bit of news that we're going to be covering on this hot, fast, quick, sub 10-minute segment is exactly what the title talks about, and it is this guy, the Tesla Model S Plaid. Now, Motor Trend was able to get their hands on a test car at a facility in California, and the numbers are pretty nuts, guys. Now, we all know that the Tesla Model S Plaid had a promised figure of 1.99 seconds to 60, 1,060 horsepower, 390 miles of range, and Tesla had a claimed quarter-mile time ability of under 10 seconds. Now, Motor Trend, as all of us, we're skeptical. You should be. If someone makes a claim like that crazy, that much faster than the current benchmark, you should be skeptical. If you aren't, you're a fanboy. Now, Motor Trend was able to test the car under Tesla's conditions. Okay? Tesla dictated that they could run a 0 to 60 time of both ways. And what I mean by both ways is Motor Trend likes to test their 0 to 60 times opposite of a drag strip. So not launching on the prepped surface, but launching on the unprepped end, right? And what they feel is that this gives a better indication of true 0 to 60 time and true quarter-mile time. So they did it both ways. And we got the stats. And they're mental. Motor Trend was able to do a 0 to 60 time with drag strip mode enabled in 1.98 seconds. And what drag strip mode does, cools the battery, gets it ready for repeated use. In addition, lowers that front end, puts it into cheetah mode where it can launch. And launch it does. When it's going 0 to 60 in 1.98 seconds, you hit 1G on launch. And they finished out that quarter mile in 9.25 seconds at 152 miles an hour. That's mental. And guys, if you look at these next two pictures, you can see the difference. This is the car in normal ride height. And then the next photo shows the car with cheetah mode active, where it is crouched and ready to pounce. Now, 0 to 60 of 1.98 seconds on a prep surface is pretty electric, pun intended. But how did it do on an unprepped surface? How did it do on a road that is meant to simulate a regular street? Did pretty good. 0 to 60 of a 2.07 seconds flat with a simulated quarter mile time of 9.34. This car comes to play not only on the strip, but off of it as well. It does a 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, guys. That's insane. That's actually mental. Now, Motor Trend went on to test the Model S Plaid at the skid pad as well, where it put in a 23.5-second time, pulling 0.9 G, both of which are pretty dynamic times. Motor Trend did say that the car pushed a little bit, but overall it was mighty impressive. Now, they did break one more record with the car before rounding out the day. They did 0 to 100 to 0 in 8.2 seconds, which is 0.3 seconds faster than a freaking McLaren Senna. And I'm going to read you Motor Trend's verdict because I feel as though this best summarizes my overall thoughts as well on this vehicle. Quote, although the 2022 Tesla Model S Plaid didn't deliver a sub 2 second 0 to 60 time on typical asphalt, it's no less of a striking achievement for the California-based automaker. The quickest car we've ever tested is a $150,000 5-seat sedan, not some multi-million-dollar carbon fiber encrusted road missile. It's remarkably well-rounded, exhibiting a combination of comfort, luxury, performance, and efficiency that remained sci-fi fantasy in 2013 when we named the Model S the Motor Trend Car of the Year. Now, this is where it gets super spicy, okay? Regardless of how much you care about acceleration numbers and how they're achieved, perhaps the most important takeaway is that the Model S is absolutely among the best cars on the market today. Again, perhaps the most important takeaway is that the Model S Plaid is absolutely among the best cars in the market today. And that is where we end our Money Shift condensed news segment. If you guys loved today, if you loved hearing the news, if you want more automotive daily news, do not forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and that follow button on Facebook. We go live every morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have a longer form show where we chat with the chat. We got Michael, we got Nico, we got Kurt, we got everybody and more. And if you want to be a part of that conversation, tune in on Facebook every morning. But if you don't got the time, no sweat. That's why we do this version. I am Thanasi on behalf of Money Shift. I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.